Here we go with some exclusive gameplay content from the F1 Manager 23 game. But I'm not going to waffle here. You're here for the gameplay. Let's get straight into it. So we're jumping straight in then with the brand new feature they've got in this year's game, and that is the race replay features. Understandably, this is basically redoing real life races and trying to obviously get a different result. Here we've got the Monaco Grand Prix, where we're playing as, well, Aston Martin really, but really Fernando Alonso, tried to overhaul Max Verstappen. Of course, in real life, they went from slicks to slicks, and then one up later to inters, kind of messed it up. Everyone was like, could they have won the race? So this gives you a chance to do it differently, which is really, really cool. Jumping straight as well with the brand new cockpit cam. I actually really like this. I don't know how much I'll actually use it in the gameplay, just because it's, it's sort of almost a bit much, but it is really, really cool. They've done a really good job on it. I love that you've got the kind of helmet and the head movements and stuff, and the graphics look great. It really is a really impressive camera mode. It's a really good new feature they've added to the game. But anyway, gonna box this lap then. This is actually my second go at the event, so you can retry these. As I said, we're Monaco Grand Prix here, lap 55 of 78, so we've got about 23 laps or so, and it is just now starting to rain. So I boxed that lap then. I probably would have been better to box the lap earlier, thinking about it. When you retry it, maybe you can figure out better ways to do it. But had a reasonable pit stop there. Get to the inters. Just watch the replay here of McLaren's double stack. And the pit animations are not final. Of course, this whole game is in early access, should point out. A big shout out to Frontier as well for allowing me the opportunity to show you this game. But little double stack there, so the replays are back. Now, you'll notice that largely it's the same. I mean, you're not going to notice massive changes. This isn't like a whole new game. It's definitely an evolution year on year rather than revolution. Now, I will say they have changed a lot with the game. It's all just very small, minor changes. We'll get into a bit more conclusion on what they've changed a little bit later on. But for now, let's concentrate this race. There you got the graph showing you what's what. So you can see we started there where the graph starts pretty much. It got wet, and then it's going to dry out. So we are going to stay on the inters. And there you go. Game just confirmed to me. Track conditions have changed to damp. So 3.8 seconds back from Max Verstappen then. And I tell you what, this was actually really, really difficult. Before I get into that, let's just look at this overtake here. Stroll actually manages an overtake around Monaco, absolutely huge, just going past Bottas, but I sort of mostly ignored Stroll for most of the race because he's, down in the back. It was Alonso's trying to get to win. But I mean, I will say this was a really difficult game mode, at least this particular scenario. I mean, your objective, right? You start second. Your objective is to win the race. It's not just to hold on to second. And it was really difficult. As I said, I tried it twice. Both times, I won't tell you the result of this one, but you can see we're already on lap 76 of 78. I'm 1.2 seconds back now. I really managed to close in just by pushing a little bit harder. You see the new tyre temperature as well in the bottom right. My tyres were a little bit warmer, so I've been pushing them a little bit, so it does now punish you. You can't just go full push on the tyres. Not only will it wear the tyres quicker now, but it'll also overheat them and you'll just straight up go slower. So I like that element rather than, it now actually punishes you a little bit for pushing, and I will reward you for taking it a little bit easy, potentially, depending on conditions, which is really, really cool. And you see that I've used pretty much all my fuel. I'm just absolutely maximizing everything I can. I'm now within a second of max. I'm trying everything I can here to try and overhaul him because I'm so close, but overtaking so difficult at Monaco. And I haven't really got much advantage at the end here. I had a very small advantage. You can see on the last lap here, I'm giving it my everything. I'm trying to, give me every single litre, every single milliliter of fuel, push the tyres right to the limit, but unfortunately it just wasn't to be. As I said, this is a really difficult mode. I did manage to win it either time, my first go or my second go that you're seeing now. I mean, I'm not going to say it wasn't possible. I'm sure it is possible, but it is tricky, and I like that. It'd be rubbish if it was like, a scenario where it's just really easy to go and win the race. Like, that's not fun. It's not easy to win races in real life. And it wasn't easy for Aston Martin to win this race anyway, even if they didn't go to another set of slicks in real life. They went straight to inters. It wasn't guaranteed that they were going to win the race by any means. They'd had a better chance, and it would have been close, but it was far from guaranteed. So I like that this is difficult. It's not a sort of thing you can jump on, boom, do it first time, move on. It's hard, and I like that. It's unforgiving. As you see the podium sequences here. And as I said, for the most part, things haven't changed too much. I mean, I'm drawing purely from memory of last year's game. I did play it, fairly extensively. So, I mean, these podium sequences look new to me. I'm not actually 100% what we got podium sequence-wise. But as I said, there is a number of new things in this game. But that race replay scenario mode is the only major feature change this year, which I've got to be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed about. I was hoping for certainly an online mode. I was hoping for a bit more depth to career, all that kind of stuff, which we're just seeing now. We're now jumping in as the Mercedes team just before the British Grand Prix. And as I said, there is tweaks. There is tweaks for everything. You can see here we're looking at the pit crew training. This is new this year, so there's a lot of smaller elements that they've added and tweaked and made it look better and feel better. But there's no other huge changes. So anyway, this is the pit crew management. So you can see you can literally manage it day by day of what your pit crew are up to. You obviously got to try and get your pit stops pit stop times, there you go, down as low as possible, while also making sure you don't fatigue them too badly or they're more likely to make mistakes. So there's quite a lot of depth here. I quite like this. It adds a little bit more elements to the bits between the races. You feel like a bit more involved with the team. Still not that much so, because it is still just menus ultimately, but you do still feel a little bit more involved with the team, a little bit more involved with active development, because you can literally schedule it. And obviously there is also the option just to be like, hey, I'm just gonna do this generic thing. Here's the design and research page. This is one of the things they've slightly overhauled. I think it's just displayed a little bit better. It's largely the same. I'm sure they've tuned all the numbers and stuff. I'm not going to get too deep into the numbers. I only had a couple hours on the game on the day. But yeah, I'm sure they've tweaked that to make it, not as easy as it was last year, where it was literally just the aero surfaces you need to update. Everything else, suspension stuff, didn't matter, which is a bit silly. Hopefully that's not the case this year. You see me skipping straight to quality. I didn't want to do practice for this one. Now you've got the setup satisfaction. Again, as you probably notice here, there's a million small things they've changed. They have tweaked it a lot. It's not a copy and paste job where they just added the race replay mode and that's it. They have changed a lot of small things, but it's to the extent that, it depends what you're looking for, I think. If you're looking for an evolution of last year's game, you got it. They've improved lots of small things. They've added one new big feature. It's for you. If you're looking for a big overhaul year on year, you're not going to get that. But it also means that it does feel quite similar. Year on year, we just skip through quality. I do actually manage to get pole position as Lewis Hamilton. In fact, I 1-2 as Mercedes, but it was because of weather. It did rain. It was dry at the start of Q3 and it'll rain later on, so that certainly helped. But yeah, away from the grid here, you can see me pushing really hard off the start. Got way too much fuel, which was a bit of an accident. Almost a collision there in turn one between my two drivers, but honestly, within the races, you're going to probably feel the most similar. Again, I'm sure things have changed. The biggest things that change within the races are the tyre temps. As I said, they do overheat now. You do have to manage them. But beyond that, really, the races are largely similar. The strategy screen is very, very similar. And, you still get very similar replays and stuff. You see just Alonso have a go at George Russell here. I'm just on board with it. Obviously, the other new thing is the cockpit cam. Or I guess the helmet cam, really. Camera, which is another new thing. So, again, this from what the vibe I got from 2 hours in the game, was lots of small things have changed. The only major one is the race replay scenario mode, but lots and lots of other smaller things have changed, and they have been working hard on it. You can tell it is improved. I didn't really find any ways where it was worse from memory. I don't think there's anything that I go, as if they've added that, or as if they changed that for that. I think everything they've done is better, which is good. But yeah, I don't know. I think year on year, the problem with a yearly release is you're competing with yourself, aren't you? You're directly competing with yourself just 12 months ago. And I'm a bit worried that the development pace of this game, despite the seemingly strong performance of last year's game, I'm a little bit worried that the development pace perhaps isn't quite quick enough for a yearly release. I don't know. If they could only add one new feature, major new feature each year, and then just tweak it other than that, I don't know, is it enough for people to buy it year on year? I think we'll see. But as I said, you can't call it a copy and paste job. It just isn't. There's enough that's changed that you go, okay, I can see that they have worked hard on this, but it is ultimately just tweaks. As I said, for me, I was looking for online mode, certainly, as we see a classic F1 manager spin there from Gasly. But yeah, I mean, for me, I was hoping for online mode. I was hoping for, more changes to career. I was hoping for just, I don't know, a bit more to it. Let's put it that way, but a bit more to it. Now, the other thing they've added, it is life to the components. Obviously, we had previously the life to the power unit components. Now you've also got life to other components as well. So like your front wing, even if you don't damage it, it will just wear over time, and then you'll have to get a new one. I like that element, but again, I can't call that a major feature. It is all very much tweaks. All tweaks that have improved the game, but haven't overhauled it massively. Now, I will say, one thing that they have said will be added post-release is the ability to move teams in career. Of course, last year's game, one of the big drawbacks was you could do a career mode, great, but once you get to, if you start as a Williams, you made it a winning team. Once you then get to season 3 and you're dominating, there was no way to change teams. They are going to add this in a post-release patch, which is awesome to see. It won't be there at launch, but it will be there in a post-release patch. Hopefully soon enough that most people haven't got to the point they want to change teams anyway. But that will be added, which I definitely think is a good thing for career mode. But other than that, really, this game is just career mode and race replay mode. That is it. There is no other modes really at all. So we get to the end here. I do actually manage to win as Lewis Hamilton. The clerk did close on me very closely, but he just wasn't able to overcome me ultimately. He was just behind me the whole race. I just kept my calm and trusted my tyres, trusted my fuel level, and hoovering at the win. I tried the one stop with George Russell, which really did not work. As you can see, he had similar pace to Hamilton, but he was way back at the line. So definitely was a two-stop at Silverstone. So tyres are really, really crucial. And it was a fun race to manage, but just very similar to last year, really. The tyre temps don't add that much. They just restrict how much you can push, really. That's what they really do. The helmet cam is a nice addition, but it doesn't really change the way you do the races. And yeah, I mean, pretty much everything else is pretty much the same within the race, to be honest. The bigger changes are honestly in the menus, if I'm honest. And as I said, I believe this podium sequence is new. I certainly don't recall that from last year's game. But anyway, guys, that has been F1 Manager. A very quick look at it. I only had 2 hours with the game. Obviously not had a massive amount of time. I will be playing this. From what I've seen, though, to be brutally honest, I don't know if I'll play it that much. I mean, last year's game for me was about a 3-4 month game. Once I'd started winning the team, I was like, well, I'm not just going to start another career mode. It'd be more of the same. I found it really formulaic as well. As I said, just update the aero surfaces, and that was the key to victory. So I will play this game. From what I've seen, though, I think the race replay mode is the main thing I'm going to do. Honestly, I'm not even sure if I'm going to do a career mode on this game. You know, just to be clear, this isn't a review. It's still early access. Just giving you my thoughts on it here. Yeah, I'm not even sure if I'm going to do a career mode on this one. I don't know. It just feels too similar. I'm sure I'll give it a go. But if after a season I end up doing the same things I did on last year's game, I don't know. It's just kind of extension. For me, last year's game wasn't even a full year game. So this year's game, for me, probably won't be. The one big thing, though, is that race replay mode. I do think that is a really cool mode. And I will be playing that probably quite consistently, but that may be the only aspect I play possibly on F1 Manager. But we'll see, guys. There's been your first look. As I said, they have changed lots and lots and lots of small things. I think there is just a bit of disappointment at the lack of headline features, but we'll see. When I get the full copy of the game, it does come out at the end of July. When I get a full copy of the game, I'll be able to give you my more extensive thoughts, and of course, we'll be playing it right here on the Alex Gillon Gameplay YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe, guys, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.